Hi everybody, happy Saturday. We are looking at Gemini in Chrome. You actually see use Gemini Live with Chrome, with Gemini in Chrome right now, but I actually am going to go to a what I'll call a sub feature, which is search your Chrome history with Gemini in Chrome. So I stumbled across this while I was reading the different pieces about Gemini apps and Gemini and Chrome. Gemini and Chrome is one of my favorite features. And if you go up here to the right, you see it right here on the top right underneath the date and time. And so it is exactly there. And so what it goes on is if you have a PC or a Mac, you can actually have Gemini and Chrome. And you can figure out how to set it up. There's some guidelines like it has to be Mac, has to be PC, you have to be in the United States, you have to be of a certain age to use some of these features. It has to be a personal account. So if you are using Google Workspace for work or Google Workspace for education, it may not necessarily be there yet. And so if you click on it, you end up with this kind of look. I am going to change it to start anew. And you can actually move it around. That's one of the features I like. There was actually an extension that was very similar to this for Google Keep, and it was one of my favorite things. I like to move things around, and I like to have small windows for things that I'm doing. I like it to have it overlaid. Anyway, so this is the Gemini in Chrome, and it tells you what the tab is, tells you can do other things. It's in thinking, and you also have Go Live. But what I'm going to do is I am going to do a search for a specific thing that I looked up weeks ago, and I'm going to see if Gemini in Chrome can do it. So if you read these features, it says you can find pages you visited before in Chrome by asking Gemini in Chrome. You don't need to keep tabs open to save them for later or remember the exact site when you visited it. Funny thing is a few days ago I did not know about this feature. I didn't think about asking it, but I spent a pretty good time in my history trying to find a particular page that I was on, and I could never find it. And so, but I couldn't find it, and I didn't even know how to look for it. And then so I eventually found it, but had I known about this, it might have been easier for me. All right, so anyway, so if you read all this stuff, it says this feature is only available if you opted into Gemini and Chrome. And then there's a highlight here. If you click on that highlight link, it will pull up a page that explains how to get Gemini and Chrome. It also says this feature is available only if you updated to the latest version of Chrome. Signed into Chrome with a personal Google account, which we just said. This feature is not available in incognito mode. It's also not available if you sign into Chrome with a work or school Google account. And your Chrome history has to be synced. And so that's another thing that I did was I did a few tests, and I said, hey, I'm looking for something that was on my Google Pixel that I searched a few days ago, and actually did a good job finding it. Does take a little while though. So find pages you visited on your computer, open Chrome. At the top of the browser, click on Gemini and Chrome, or you can use a shortcut. I think the shortcut is Control G. Ask Gemini and Chrome to find a page you previously visited. Use everyday language to describe the page you're looking for. And then learn how to check or delete your Chrome browsing history. We don't need to do that. And it actually gives you some tidbits on how to do this in examples, but I have a particular one that I want to look up, so I'm going to do it. I tried to go a few weeks deep, and so I am going to say, please find a page that I visited a while back. It is about the FCC revoking Telcom cyber security rules. After the Salt Typhoon hacks. All right, let's see what it does. It's thinking. I can stop the thinking right here if I want, and I can ask more questions too. But let's see how long it takes. I'll be quiet. If you hear music in the background, I'm playing some lo-fi with Snoopy and Woodstock right now on YouTube. And I like reading this sometimes. This actually tells you a few things. Analyzing, show thinking. It was actually pretty quick. So it says, based on your history, I found a few pages from late November that match your description. FCC revokes cybersecurity rules after Salt Typhoon leaks, hacks. FCC just made America less safe. And what to know about Salt Typhoon. And so this is the one I was looking for. And so I'm going to give it a plus, a thumbs up, and I'm going to click on it. And so it actually found the page. This is the page that I looked at. Definitely remember it. And I remember the article a little bit. I'm not going to log in, but this is it. And then if I didn't like that, I can actually go to the next one. This was actually a good article too, but this was not the one I was thinking about. It tells you about Salt Typhoon, and it compares the FCC revocation of some Telcom guidelines and requirements that were, I think they were actually just recently rolled out from previous administration. And then, so anyway, so it works. That's how you do a Google search in Gemini. So actually, I'm sorry, history search. And if you want to do another one, I usually just click on start anew. And let me see if I can find one. Let me try one more. I vaguely recall looking a book yesterday by a guy named Andrew. Can you help me find that Amazon page? Let's see if it helps. And so I was looking for some books yesterday, trying to stack up on a couple science fiction books, and let's see if it finds this one. And again, if you look here, it's trying to identify the Amazon page. So I did quite a few searches with this person's name, this author's name, but I really just want the Amazon page. Let's see if it does it. All right, so based on your Chrome history from yesterday, it looks like you're looking at books by Andrew Weir. It's likely the Andrew you recalled. Here are specific Amazon pages, so it did do that. And this is the book that I was looking for. You also viewed a search for Bill the Galactic Hero. Yes, I did. Would you like me to find reviews for either of these books? Nope. I actually bought this book, and I'll probably get this one next. But let's see what it shows. There you go. Right there. Project Hail Mary. So it works pretty good. I kind of like it. Doesn't mean I won't go into my search history or my my Chrome browsing history anymore, but I do like this because every now and then you say, I looked for a book, or I looked for something a few days ago, I can't remember anything about it. And so instead of just going down a list of history and URLs, you could probably put a little bit of information in here and get it taken care of. You can switch to fast if you want it quicker. I'm sure it would probably work. And you can go live. Not sure why you would want to go live with this, but you can. I guess maybe if you want to talk to it instead. And that's it. So thank you for joining. See you later. Bye-bye.